I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about true crime and psychology. Thank you so much for joining. Let's hop right into today's topic. Let's go. Welcome. We are going to talk about the Tracey Grist trial. I am also going to play the judge's sentencing of Kate, her daughter, because the judge read Kate in a phenomenal way. And I don't even want to summarize it. It's less than maybe 4 or 5 minutes of the judge's statements. And so we will take a look at that after, once we kind of get through a little bit of this first part. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining. This case is wild. So let me just start with a brief overview. Okay. So this is a bit of a complex case. It is Kathy from Gossip Rumor and Innuendo calls it Timu Adelsons, but it's like a cheaper version of the Adelsons. And that's just sometimes there's dark humor in true crime. The mother in this case actually Googled Donna Adelson. She Googled Katie McBanawa, and she also Googled Wendy Adelson. So making this comparison, you kind you kind of get why you would make that comparison because Kate, the daughter, so Kate was married to Matt, and Matt has a stepson. Sorry, no, has a son from another relationship, and then Kate and Matt had 2 children. And there are some dynamics. We are going to talk about the wet tortilla video. If you did not watch it, I don't think, trust me when I say this was a toxic relationship. But I think the defense played it to kind of attack the victim in this case. Now, I think family court, people should have been involved to talk about should either one of these people have been able, like should the kids, uh, you know, there need to be some parenting support. Kate admits to being high most of the time. Kate's sister, is it Laura? Y'all know me and names. Her sister, let me find the sister's name because she said if you saw Kate, Kate was high because she was asked. Oh, so like was Tara Lynn? Tara Lynn testified on Friday, and she pretty much said if you saw Kate, Kate was probably high. And then I do think Matt likely had his own anger stuff, but what happened in this case sounds like conspiracy and first degree capital M. It sounds like a setup. And Matt's mother knew it. So Matt's mother recorded a phone call, and so let me finish with some more of the details before I get to that. So Kate and Matt lived in California, and Kate wanted to leave him, but didn't want to tell him that she was leaving him. And Kate had a lot of affairs. According to Kathy, I have not confirmed all of the affairs. I think she only talked about one affair when she was on the stand, but I think there was a history of some more affairs. But Kate got the kids and lied about where she was going, rented a car with her family's help, and took the kids from California to Utah. So her 2 kids. The oldest son stayed, but she took her 2 kids to Utah. And she was there for a while. And Matt was not happy with that. And he was threatening to report her for kidnapping. You can't do that. Kate called a lawyer, and the lawyer said, like you're not going to be able to fight. Like you're going to have to go back to California pretty much. Like y'all live there. You can't take the kids to another state without his permission. You're going to have to go back. I don't think Kate wanted to do that. And her mom, unfortunately, they all kind of came up with a plan of how to make it so that there wasn't a custody issue. Now, please work through the things in the court. Redrum is not a red rum, whatever you want to call it, is not a solution to a custody battle, to a custody dispute. And um, the mom, Kate's brother, Kevin, and Kate, they pretty much lured Matt to Utah. They were tracking him using an Apple AirTag, and they as soon as he got there, he was pew-pewed. Now, there was a nosy neighbor, and I love the way I love a nosy neighbor. There was a neighbor that heard something. She was like, "Is that fireworks?" And her husband is watching TV. Her husband is probably my husband would probably do something like that. He probably like, "Patrice, mind your business." She did not mind her own business. She called the police immediately because while Tracy, the Kate's mother, while she was on the phone with 911, the police come knocking at the door, and they weren't expecting the police to get there that fast. And Tracy actually asked the neighbor what time she called 911 because they wanted to make it seem like Matt got there and there was a big argument and that there was some time had passed before the pew pew happened. Uh Also, we'll throw in there that Kevin was high on the Kakan. I can't say the full thing on YouTube this early in the video, but Kevin was not sober, and it reminded me. Was Sigfredo? Was Sigfredo and the Dan Markel pew pew? Was Sigfredo high when he did the thing? I thought he might have been. I know Ali Abulaban was. Just stay away from substances. Don't do that. Just don't do crimes. Makes life so much easier because this whole situation was just completely horrific, and none of it made any sense. They staged it poorly, and we love when people are bad at crime because was shot in his back and was face down, and they put a knife in his right hand, but he was left-handed. So he wouldn't have, and the knife they got was so specific. If y'all saw testimony on Friday, like there was I don't know if he was a detective or if he was some forensic guy, but so the knife, he figured out that the knife was from the specific company. That company was in Australia and they had closed and sold to a US based company. Nobody answered their phones. This poor man is probably trying to scream representative. Like this guy tracked down this knife because he saw an influencer with it. Like he saw it in a video on like somebody's social media, and they actually played the video of the guy unboxing the hunting kit, and come to find out that the knife belonged to like one of Kate's friends, deceased boyfriend, husband, something like that. But like the knife did not belong to Matt. There would be no reason for Matt to have that weapon. And so like the whole thing was just, it was bad. Her defense team her lawyer is doing a good job. So the lawyer tried to attack Kate's credibility. So Kate got a plea deal. And so instead of pleading guilty to first degree red rum, she pled guilty to second degree. I think she pled guilty to second degree conspiracy and to first degree commission of a crime with a pew pew, something like that. She wanted that to come down too. They were not able to get that one down. But the lawyer tried to attack her because she tried to be like, I'm up here to do what's right. Her testimony reminded me of Juliana from the Brendan Banfield case, the au pair case, where she's like, oh, I'm just here to try to get justice. When really, I think she was just trying to get a deal. And my personal thoughts, I think it was to save herself. I don't think it had anything to do with wanting justice for Matt. I don't think she liked Matt. In that video of the wet tortilla argument. Okay, so I guess right here would be a decent place for us to talk about the wet tortilla video. Please put a 1 in the chat if you saw the wet tortilla video, because it was a lot. So Kate recorded an argument between her and Matt, and the kids are right there. So the kids, and he's cussing her out. He's yelling, screaming, she's yelling and screaming back, and the kids are right there. There's a time when the kids are crying, but I think the kids are just trying to eat. But like once the kids are eating, I think it's normal to them. And I was watching with Recovery Addict. He has a YouTube channel. If you like watching live coverage, he normally has a great chat. Recovery Addict is a great place to watch trials. He also has phenomenal audio, because there was one point where they were playing, I think it might have been that video. I was having trouble hearing it over on Court TV or somewhere else. And I remembered that Recovery Addict was streaming. And sure enough, I was able to listen to it, and I heard everything much clearer over on his channel. But it seemed like a mutually toxic relationship. Like, so I'm not saying that was a saint, but I think Kate lured him to Utah saying she was going to come home, or she was at least going to let him take the kids back home. And I don't think she ever had any intentions of leaving. Our green chili enchiladas best prepared with wet tortillas. So anybody that's new here, green chili chicken enchiladas was from the Lori Vallow Daybell case. Thank you for gifting a membership. Like I had nachos. I had tortilla chips for lunch today. I did. And I had it with some black beans and salsa, and that did make them soggy, but he was super duper mad. And I don't know if he was sober. I couldn't tell, because she alleges that he struggled with drinking too much alcohol. Now, so Kate alleged that he drank a lot of alcohol. The defense tried to bring up that okay, so trigger warnings for harm to animals. Okay, content warning. He did pew pew a dog, and they showed a picture of the dog, but they also showed his injuries. His dog viciously attacked him. Like, his dog attacked him, and for all of the injuries he had, I'm guessing he probably tried to calm the dog down, and the dog couldn't calm. I don't know. But so the defense brought up the fact, because they're trying to make him out to be this big, scary guy. Because I don't know if they're still claiming self-defense. Kevin was found guilty already of first degree. Like, Kevin was found guilty, the brother. The person, so Kevin's the one that had the pew pew. He did the thing. For some reason, Tracey is standing in the kitchen behind the refrigerator when he got there, which sounds a little suspicious. Like, she knows something's about to happen. But she's like, yeah, I was in the kitchen behind the refrigerator. But it's like, I've never been in the kitchen behind the refrigerator when somebody arrived to my house. Like, normally I walk towards the door. When I have company come to the door, I normally walk towards the door. And there was a significant period of time, I think 8 to 9 minutes, it might have been more than that, between when the pew pew happened and when they called 911. Because it's my understanding they tried to clean up some things, they tried to do some things. And so yes, and Matt did not have a pew pew to Utah. He did not. So, with this case, we want to talk about family dynamics, because, in my opinion, this family was very enmeshed. I feel like Tracey was trying to solve Kate's problems, and Tracey had her own history of a lot of different marriages and divorces. Not like, because people can, but like, so Tracey has a total of 7 children, and I think let me pull up. I have a picture of the family tree. Here we go. So let me make myself, okay, good. I'm small. Okay. So this is the family tree, where Tracey's, the defendant is at the top. Her oldest daughter is Terilyn, and then there's Kevin. And so I think Kevin and Tim both have the same father. Maybe there's another because the Rastelli. So maybe Kate has a different father. Rachel, and then Jacob, and then Aurora or Rory. So those are Tracey's children. And then yeah, okay, yeah, Kate remarried. So that's why Kate's name is different. Sorry. Rastelli is Matt Rastelli. That's from Kate's marriage, my brain. And so the family tree, so Tracey has a lot of children and she seems overly involved in her children's lives. It reminded me a lot of um of Donna Adelson and her trying to solve Wendy's problems. So it can be like, as in, if my kid is in pain, it's not my job to like make sure that my child is never in pain. Now, if my child is struggling, I want to make sure he has the help he needs. So that's where I might recommend therapy. I might recommend, we might do a psychological, we might, see if bedtime, if there's something else influencing behavior, but I can't protect my kid from everything, from every single thing. And I think some of Kate's problems, she needed to change her behavior some, because I think she was recording conversations and arguments with Matt and sending them to her family as like proof of how bad things were for her. But I don't think, and she said that she wanted to leave him. Kate even said on the stand that she told her mom that she didn't want to go through with the plan. I don't know that that's true. I honestly, I don't know that that's true. Kate's testimony came off. I think Kate knows how to turn on the waterworks. And what I mean by that is, I think some of her tears were for herself and for how this has impacted her. I don't know that she's really thought about how this has impacted her children. It's my understanding that she talked about being happy, like after her husband was deceased. They're gonna say that she Googled how to help kids grieve. I don't know that she, because my understanding, she was trying to have a date. So he died, and it's my understanding within 1 to 2 days, Kate was trying to go out with somebody else. And that she was telling some people how happy she was. Let me go on ahead and pull up the judge's statements. Rastelli sentence. Let me go on ahead and pull up the judge's statements. I will give a content warning. We will start with her statement first. Okay? And yeah. It's going to be what you think it's probably going to be. So, all right, let's share that tab. Let's make myself small. All right, so we are going to start with her giving her statement to the judge.
You all rise.
Wait a minute. I don't think that's that part. Yeah, okay. She's about to.
Thank you. You may be seated.
They ended up moving everything. There's her statement.
I'm so very deeply sorry for the pain that I've caused. I understand that my apology will never be enough to heal the hurt that Matt's death has caused and continues to cause. He didn't deserve it. If I had the power to bring him back, I would. I know that my actions directly caused Matt's death. And for my part, I realized the devastation I caused. I didn't think about the pain it would cause. My heart breaks for his children, his family.
My heart breaks for his children? For his children? Aren't his children, 2 of them are your children? My heart breaks for his. I've never, I've never seen a defendant. I've never seen a defendant say distance themselves from their own children. Like, what? Okay, we have to I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back. Because what? Okay.
I know that my actions directly caused Matt's death. And for my part, I realized the devastation I caused. I didn't think about the pain it would cause. My heart breaks for his children, his family, his friends, and his community. At this point, the least I could do is speak the truth on what happened to give Matt and his family the justice they deserve.
I'll never get over her saying his children. So we will go back to the judge's statement, okay? So the way that they did this video, they put the judge's statement at the beginning and her, because it was like a clip. They clipped it together. Here is the judge's sentence.
I received today. I read all the letters that were submitted to the court from both sides prior to court today. I've fully studied out the statement in advance of plea. I also went over my notes from preliminary hearings in this matter to make sure my memory was correct.
Your Honor, just briefly, I apologize. We would be asking for a continuous protect order.
I've already got that in my notes.
Perfect.
All right, thank you. The court cannot add to what was said by Mr. Estelli's family members today to describe the type of person that he clearly was. As time passes, I hope that his family will be able to only recall the good memories you have of him, and that you'll be able to put behind you the tragic events of July of 2024. I'm sure that will take time, but I hope that can occur. Mr. Stelli, what struck me in the numerous statements in your letters of support that I received was that you quote unquote loved your children. That's simply not true. Your selfish actions show that you didn't love your children at all. You made them victims. Let me be clear, your children are victims of your actions. They'll be lifetime victims of your actions, and they deserve to grow up without you in their lives. Your actions the day after the events of July show how callous and uncaring you were towards your children and what you did to their father. You tell me in your statement of advance of plea or your pre-sentence report you want to back out of the plan to kill your husband. Yeah, hours after their father was killed, you were preparing for a date, according to a friend of yours from this court. And you were showing off the scene of a crime to those friends like it was a trophy. When you received condolences from a friend of yours from Discord, you said, quote, "It's okay, I'm happy." I simply do not find it all credible in your claim that you wanted to back out of the plan to kill your husband after 5 p.m. on the events of July 2024. As Mr. Brown pointed out, the record is clear and unambiguous. You still had ongoing telephonic communications with your husband before the events that led to his death that night. But more importantly, you had more than just hours to do something about that. You had days to stop your family's plan to kill your husband. But you elected not to do anything. It's clear to the court that your statements and actions or lack thereof in July 2024 was not of somebody who wanted to back out of the plan that you admitted to in your statement in advance of plea, but of somebody who was willing to go forward with it and was happy that the event and the plan was successful. I think it's also important to remind you, as the state pointed out, that you had also entered into a plea deal regarding domestic violence, physical domestic violence against Matt. And there's no record that he ever committed any domestic violence against you. Indeed, it struck the court in our preliminary hearings that you repeatedly told a divorce attorney in the state of Utah that he never physically abused you. So you're not a victim, you're the perpetrator of incredible harm of domestic violence to your children and, of course, to your husband. With those brief facts in mind, I'm going to proceed for sentencing. I'm going to order restitution. There's a stipulation to $2,500 at this time. Further restitution is to remain open as allowed by statute. It's required by state law. I'm going to order a $53.
All right. And so he's also going to order that she have no contact with her children. I think it's for the rest. I think there's a no contact for the children. That might be from what I heard on there, that might be indefinitely. The judge did a great job. So this was Kate's sentencing. So she did a plea deal. Her mom is currently on trial, and she testified in her mother and her brother's case. Her brother has already been convicted. And because the defense was almost hinting that Tara Lynn might have been involved in this too. And when they asked the sister Rachel, who was on the stand, if she was like, I think at one point the state might have investigated her too, because the state just wanted to hold people accountable that lured him there and knew what was going to happen, because the whole family had the AirTag and they were all tracking his truck's movement. So Rachel had it. I think there were more than 5 family members could all track the AirTag, but there was no evidence that they were involved, that Rachel or Tara Lynn, to my knowledge, there's no evidence that they were involved in the planning or executing of the murder. There's no indication of that. The brothers' phone call. So there was a recorded phone call where Kevin and Tara Lynn have a conversation about how they can't believe that Tracey orchestrated all of this. Like that's the gist I got from the phone call. They were pretty much just like, how could mom have, and that Kevin kind of regretted being involved and not speaking up or saying something. And so that's where, to me, Tracey is the Donna Adelson of this. I think Tracey is the one. I don't know that Kate would have done this without Tracey. So that's where enmeshed families, when people start thinking other people's problems are their problems. And I think Tracey selfishly wanted the grandkids to be with her in Utah. Like, I think there's more to this. And I think they probably hated Matt. Now, did Matt spank the kids over something small? Yes. So that's where I'm like both, but that's not something to unalive somebody over. So, because they brought up multiple times during the Disneyland trip, they brought up multiple times that Matt supposedly took 2 of the kids to the bathroom and spanked them after something minor. And I am against physical discipline. And so but that's where parenting classes, you call CPS. The family never called CPS. And there were no marks on the kids. And I know the laws in California, but I know in Virginia, you can sometimes say that it's damaging because it is damaging to the child emotionally. And sometimes a family court judge will rule that there's no physical discipline of children. But I don't even think it would have been a CPS report. And so the whole thing was just, it was so much. It was a lot. Welcome, Tracey, to the membership. All right. Yes, exactly. And so that's where I say I don't think that would have ever raised to the level of there being some type of CPS involvement or anything like that. Now, their exposure to their parents arguing and all of that, so if I was the therapist for Kate or Matt or the children, and they showed me the wet tortilla video, I might have had to call, because those children should not have been exposed to that incident. Those children were like 2 and 3. They were very, very young. That whole thing was exactly the videos may have led to a CPS report. And CPS wouldn't have removed the kids. They would have come in and given them supports and resources. They would have recommended anger management. They would have recommended that they get sober. And they would have recommended like parenting classes or something like that. So within enmeshed families, and if there is illegal activity, sometimes if the family, so when I say enmeshed, it means there aren't separate individuals. It's our problem. It's we. Like everything is, there aren't individuals. Everybody is this big jumbled mess, and we don't all have our own emotions or anything like that. But if there's criminal behavior, enmeshed families can enable criminal behavior. There can be this there can be a pattern of intergenerational trauma. There can be an inability to set boundaries. And the common factors in enmeshed families is over involvement. So I think Tracey was over involved probably in the lives of all of her children. At least Kate. Like she was over involved. I don't know if she would describe herself as overprotective, but because I don't think, based on what we've heard, I don't know that Tracey made Kate be responsible for her part. For her, like, we're all over here mad at Matt, but nobody's talking about the fact that, like, Kate is also involved in all of this. There can also be a lack of separation where you don't feel like you can speak up if you disagree. The potential legal issues is when child custody issues come up that can create major issues. And so I do have links in the description. If anybody does have an enmeshed family, because enmeshed families lack boundaries where roles and expectations become confused. And there are ways to learn how to develop your own sense of self, create boundaries, and make sure that you're moving towards your own happiness and well-being. And so we talked about that. It's a dysfunctional family system. I also pinned a video that with enmeshment, I talked about this more thoroughly in my Donna Adelson. Because it reminds me so much of the Donna Adelson, all the Adelsons except Rob. Rob is the one that got away because he set boundaries. Hopefully it's not freezing again. I'm plugged into the wall. Okay, good. I might have to disconnect all of my devices when I stream. I'm a ventriloquist. Okay, so you can hear me, you just couldn't see me moving. That is great. But when I mentioned that Matt's mother recorded a phone call, so about 2 days after the incident, and it's my understanding that they didn't call Matt's mother to tell her what had happened to her son. Like that, what? Like that's crazy. The oldest son, who I think is he might be in his 20s now, Lucas, he might be called by the defense. We will see if that happens, but we will see. But Matt's mother called Tracey to say, like, she wanted the details. So what happened? When did he get there? But I read online that Kevin was on cocaine. Did y'all know he was on that? Like, Tracey had questions. She went into full investigative mode. And then when she was talking to Kate, Tracey was giving Kate answers in the background. And so I think that call could also hurt Tracey. I think Tracey's super duper guilty. I'm not on the jury. I don't have to stay neutral. Oh, Tracey called Diane. Oh yeah, thank you for clarifying that. And so, but Diane was ready. So Diane is Matt's mom, and they wanted to talk about the funeral arrangements or the memorial. And Diane's over here like, I'm trying to figure out what happened to my son. I'm trying to figure it out. And Kathy did a longer video about Matt's mom solving the case because Matt had it figured out. Because I think Matt's mom, Diane, she was like, "This sounds like a setup. Like y'all called my son out there. Y'all shot and killed him. As soon as he got there, this sounds like a setup." And I forget if it's Kate, but somebody just hangs up on her. That the call ends by them just hanging up. And so somebody mentioned that they wanted Diane to pay. I didn't hear them ask for money, but so that's where I had to go to. I think I had to go somewhere. That phone call might have been loud. It was the prison phone call that I had trouble hearing. But yeah. She trusted herself, and that was phenomenal. All right. And I have videos on breaking generational trauma with children. My issue with physical discipline is that it teaches my child that I hit you to discipline you, or I hit you to teach you a lesson, or because I love you, I get to hit you, but other people can't hit you and you can't hit other people. So kids that are physically disciplined are more likely to be physically aggressive. My dissertation was on forgiveness and aggressive children. And one of the constructs that I studied was corporal punishment and just the negative outcomes for children that it has. And so sometimes I've also seen people using it. And what I mean by that is, I'll never forget, I was in the store and a 2-year-old hit his 3-year-old sister, and the mom hit him and said, "Don't hit." And he hit her back. And she was like, "Don't hit." And he was like, he was like 2, but she kept hitting him, and he kept hitting her back. And I just had to walk away because it wasn't my business. So there are other resources, there are other tools. Discipline. So I do believe in discipline. So I'm not one of those hokey pokey, let kids run free and do whatever they want. No, my child does have like boundaries, restrictions. When my child is struggling, sometimes it's because he's overly tired. He might be hungry. And then sometimes there's something that's undiagnosed. So I'll be completely honest. We have a psychological evaluation coming up for our child this month. So I am a psychologist, but I'm not my son's psychologist. And he's showing some signs and symptoms, likely of ADHD. That's what I suspect. It's either ADHD or anxiety. And so we have a full psychological scheduled. It's not causing major problems at school. But like we're getting a hold on things early before it does start to affect other environments and all that. And so, yes. And so, and I'll just tell you, so I know, and my mom and I have talked about it on stream before, that I know I became a people pleaser because I didn't want to be hit. So it was like, oh, if you just don't get in trouble, you don't get hit. And so conflict caused anxiety for me. And my child does not have any issues with creating conflict. And that's where I have to but we use skills, we use other things. Cause I probably mentioned here one time my kid was like, "Get me water." He might have said, "I want water." I don't know. He said something in the tone. The tone didn't sit right with me. And so I give him a chance to redo it. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, this is the respectful way to say that." And he will. But the first try isn't always the most respectful one. And so it is what it is. Let's see. With this case, I am going to continue to follow it. It is going to the defense. If they are going to put on any witnesses, we might see defense witnesses next week. We shall see. I think the jury's going to find her guilty. I could be wrong, but this definitely seems like a conspiracy. She's over here, Donna Adelson. The Adelsons made it into the trial because she's over here Googling Donna Adelson. What was Katie McBanawaz's sentence? I think. So she Googled something like that. Like she's over here Googling things like that. And they also had the recorded call of Kate's conversation with the lawyer that did not go well. And so, yeah, it's tough. Very difficult case. Let me just check my notes to see if there was anything else that stood out to me with this one. I think Kate definitely wanted out of her marriage, but I think she didn't want to have to share custody. But now everybody has lost, especially their children. And let's call them his kids because she did. And I don't know why she called them his kids. All right. Yes. And the cross-examination of Kate, they attacked her credibility, understandably. And they tried to make it sound like the prosecution was the one that had the conspiracy narrative and that the prosecution's the one that wanted her to go along with that narrative, but it sounds like a conspiracy to me. Like I don't know that it was the prosecution. That just sounds like the facts to me personally, but it is what it is. The defense attorney is adorable. He makes jokes. So the defense attorney and Kate. So Kate was talking about a phone call she had, and the defense attorney was like, "What were you wearing?" And she was like, "Probably something pink." And he was like, "Are you being facetious?" And she's like, "No, most of my wardrobe is pink." So it was probably something pink. Like there were the defense attorney has me cracking up. And I think him and Kate had a similar sense of humor because they would kind of pick at each other in a way. But I think like Kate was trying to one up him. He was trying to one up her. And I just sat back and watched, and it was kind of funny to me. Once again, this case definitely gives me Donna Adelson vibes. Tracey told the neighbors that her daughter left a abusive marriage. And I think that was even before he came. And because the neighbors both testified. So the neighbor that called 911 and her husband, they both testified. The Google searches are going to get you every single time. I think she Googled Dan Markel and Wendy Adelson, or maybe the attorney, maybe they brought out the fact that Dan Markel and Donna and Wendy Adelson were in the middle of a custody battle. They tried to say that they tried to bring up so many things, and the defense is trying. The defense is trying. Terralyn and Rachel, they both testified. It was probably hard for them to testify against their mother. But like this entire family is affected by this because Terralyn's children, their grandmother is in jail. Their uncle is in jail. And their aunt they're all in jail for an incident that happened at the family home. And it's just it was a lot. So enmeshed and codependent. So but that's where Kate might have been the one that wanted her mom to solve her problems, because that's where I don't know that Kate would have done it herself, because during the whole tortilla video, so the wet tortilla video, Kate has a knife. Kate is over here chopping. I don't see the knife, don't know how big the knife is, but they are having a full escalated argument and she is chopping. I do not recommend having arguments while somebody has a weapon in their hand. Like of all the times to be calm. And Kate didn't do anything, but probably because she knew she was recording. But like you hear the chopping during the whole wet tortilla video. And like it sounds like when I chop vegetables like that, I normally use, it's called like a French, I don't know. It's like French, I don't know. I sold Cutco cutlery. Let me look at which chopping knife. What's it called? Because there's a name for it. It's I forget what it's called, but it's a sharp knife. And so it was very angry chopping. Like to say that she's over here afraid of him. I think it's like a it's a cleaver. It has a name. Let me see. Cutco. Chopping vegetables. Because there was a petite. Because there were different sizes of them. The vegetable peeler. Let me see. Which one is it? The chef's knife. That's what it was. Yes. Let me share my screen. Because hopefully I don't get in trouble with YouTube. So yes, so real quick. So that's, but she's over here chopping up knives, and it didn't seem, and they're just escalated. And so that's where I don't know that Kate would have done anything herself. I don't know that she would have done it. That's where it's like, it almost seems like you kind of have to have this deadly storm all line up in a way. And that's where somebody has to say no. Kevin has to say no. I'm not going to do that for y'all. Because I don't think Tracey would have used the pew pew. I think they got Kevin. Do you know? Like, and poor Kevin, he had a restraining order against him from his fiance. Poor Kevin. Not poor Kevin, because he did a thing, but probably has his own story. But that's where somebody has to say no. You have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries. And I do think that Kate kind of told the narrative in a way that had the family hating him, leaving out all of her cheating. I don't know if the family knew. Maybe they knew about her cheating. I don't know. I don't know if they cared. I don't know. They hated Matt. It's hard. All right. All right. I felt for like half a second. No, but he did the thing. But I wish he had said no. Because so the conversation between Carolyn and Kat, that was kind of sad. Like, because I think he felt manipulated by his mom in that moment. That because they talked about her making chocolate chip cookies for him without the chocolate chips. Did I hear that right? Was it chocolate chip cookies without the chocolate chips? Blueberry muffins. They had a whole conversation, and this was a recorded line. They were saying way too much on that recorded line, knowing that this can and will be used against you later or your mother. But it is what it is. Hey, I appreciate you all. Ooh. So, and next week we will see which cases. I did do a video talking about the Tanner Horner case. That is a case that is very horrific. There are videos going around right now. So this is a note for the true crime community. It is okay to not watch something. So there are videos coming up in my feed that cover the images from the FedEx truck that let us know exactly how Athena died. I don't need that information. Watching that content, reviewing all of that can take a toll on your mental health. And it's okay to say, my week has been tough enough. Like, it's okay to look away from some stuff. I will not show those things here. Okay. So I will not show those images. Any image I show of Athena is going to be that beautiful, lively, the little girl that should still be here. That is the only image I will show. And I will not go into the graphic details of that case. It's horrific. And so please protect your mental health as you watch, and pay to skip some things. So there are videos that I have skipped, or I have skipped ahead to certain portions. Or if it starts to get to the point where I'm starting to get so mad, like I can't handle it. And a lot of people are concerned about the jurors. And let me tell you, the difference between me and the jurors is the jurors agreed to do this. They agreed for justice's sake, for the defendant, for the entire system. They agreed to watch all of this. It's my understanding that the jury was emotional, of course, understandably, that I think it was Thursday. I want to say Thursday was the last full day. And they're not coming back to court until Wednesday. And I think I think the state knew the jury was going to need a few days. The defense probably also wanted a cooling down period, because if they had deliberations right after the jury saw the video, DP DP, right? Like the jury would probably want, understandably, they would have some very strong feelings. So I think they have given the jury a few days. The jury will have access to mental health resources if they choose to use it, but they have a role in this case. I don't. I don't have any role. So that's why I don't have to watch it. I can protect my mental health and not have to see it. Athena was beautiful. Her family, she was a loving little girl that liked to play hide and seek. And so I'm not gonna watch that. And I'm not gonna play it here. The one aspect, yes. This is the FedEx. So she was bad things happened in a FedEx truck. The defendant is claiming mitigation due to autism. He's already pled guilty to capital murder. I think that was in kidnapping. I think were the two charges that he pled guilty to. And he is up for the death penalty. And his defense team is trying to say that he has autism and that his mother drank during pregnancy. They're trying to claim mitigation for him to get life in prison instead. And it's going to be up to the jury. So that's where those are his only two options: life in prison, and he's in Texas. And I put in the comments, and I believe it, don't mess with Texas. Like Texas, it's my understanding, they like making like an example of people. And so this was a small town. Paradise, Texas is a incredibly small town. And we'll see what happens. I suspect he'll probably get the maximum. And we can kind of go from there. I have a video covering that case if you want to see my other coverage on this case. Okay. I do not believe that autism should be my personal thoughts. Because I don't believe autism had anything to do with what he did. There's something much sicker, there's something much more evil, there's something much more darker that happened. I work with people with autism, and I do not like it when mental health conditions get dragged into but the defendants, they have every right to do it. I want to speak out when that happens to help give the audience more information. And so, yes. I'm not sure if that's where the movie Hope Floats was filmed. It's my understanding that they have one stoplight. I think they have one stoplight. It's a very small town. The school, I think, it was a smaller elementary school. It's a very, very small town. And so those are my thoughts on that. And then, so in my video, I talked about, I think there's some psychopathy. I think there's some antisocial traits. There's something, and he had a history of other SA incidents that have been alleged. And so, yes. So it's both to me. So autism, because it's autism can be diagnosed by so I normally diagnose as a clinical psychologist, and it's in the disorder of, it's in the DSM. So I diagnose, I can diagnose autism. But yeah. All right. Exactly. Autism is not an excuse for murder. I am autistic as well, and I have special interests and have weird things, but it's not violent. Exactly. And often individuals on the spectrum are more likely to be the victim of harm due to just because they might be easily. So not every person, but sometimes a person might misread social things. They might think, oh, people always tell the truth. Like I always tell the truth. Other people always tell the truth. And so sometimes they can be the victim, but I think there was some psychopathy. I think there was some antisocial I think there was something more there, and we are going to hear from the defense mental health experts and the state mental health experts next week, I believe. So I think that's what's coming next week. So we will see. Um, wow. All right. Yes, and I saw the testimony of the 2 survivors, and I wish them all the best. The defense, tried to attack their reputation. And those girls were, I think, 16, like, they were young. I think one was 14, one was 16. I could be wrong on the ages, but, they gave phenomenal testimony. I didn't watch all of that either because I was getting mad at the defense. They were absolutely amazing. I was so mad. I could watch their direct examination, the cross examination, because I work with a lot of SA survivors that choose to not go through the court process because they don't want to get dragged. Because let's say the person did have a drink, but they said no. Let's say the person was wearing what, let's say the person willingly did something one time, but then said no. And just like let's say it was in a relationship where they like the person, I don't know. So there's just a lot of dynamics that go into it that make it hard for victims to come forward. And so it made my heart really mad. So I will say, in support of defense attorneys, we want defendants to have a good defense because that helps their conviction. If they are convicted, it helps. So every person is entitled to a defense, and I want defense attorneys to do their job ethically within the bounds of their ethics. And unfortunately, the defendant is given a lot of rights. I wish, and sometimes there are victim advocates that fight for the victim's rights. Um, it's it's a lot. It's a lot. Um, and now, especially SVU cases, so special victims cases, they are often given a victim advocate that helps walk them through the process, that helps advocate for their needs and all of those things. And so, yes, yes, yes. One of my favorite attorneys on the internet is Natalie Lawyer Chick. She is a defense attorney, and she just wants to make sure that the state does their job and people's rights are protected. And so I like Natalie's perspective, and I've collaborated with her a few times. We never were able to make our schedules match. She stays super busy with trials, and then I get busy too. And so, if you're talking about JD Lawyer Explains, I love his channel. Yes, Natalie Lawyer Chick. I love it. I love it. So I am gonna head out. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. I'm gonna finish my episode of The Perfect Crown. That's on Disney Plus. It's a K-drama. Uh, um, I love my drama Korean with English subtitles. So I love K-dramas, and so I'm gonna watch that. And then I'm gonna hang out with family. I think I need to clean some bathrooms today. Oy. I probably have some housework to do. We'll see if it happens. It'll happen today or tomorrow. I appreciate you all. I will see you all next time. Be kind, don't do crimes, and I will see you all next time. Have a good one. Bye.